If you've ever stumbled across a video of a scare event like this, and you've thought, what in the hell is going on there? Then you're in the right place. Because here at Judventures, we've experienced over 100 scare events across multiple screen parks over the last 10 years, even way before we started this channel. So I'd like to think that we've picked up a thing or two about scare events across our time visiting them. And that's exactly why we are creating this very new series about what you can expect when you visit a screen park in 2025, where we'll be going across various screen parks in the UK and letting you know just what you can expect. With that being said, you're going to want to buckle up, because today we're diving headfirst into one of the most unique scare attractions in the UK, and that is Scare City Expereince.
You'd make a lovely pie.
Yep, it is just 5 weeks until our first scare event of the season as we attend the Scare City Experienced press event for 2025, and I can't believe just how quickly this has come around. It feels like 2 minutes ago since we were at our last event in 2024, and here we are already in 2025 preparing for the 2025 scare season. Now, we will have a full range of all access vlogs, including in-maze filming from the vast majority, if not all, of the scare events that we will be attending. So please, if you want to see just what happens at any of these scare events, then hit that subscribe button and be ready for when these vlogs drop. They're some of the most fun vlogs of the year, and you're not going to want to miss them. Now, with that being said, let's jump straight into Scare City Expereince, because this really is an event like no other, and that's because of its incredibly unique location. You see, Scare City Expereince isn't just a pop-up event in the middle of nowhere, it is actually built in the old abandoned Camelot Theme Park. Now, what a location that actually is to have your very own scare event. Walking down these pathways and seeing the old rotted and rusted corpses of roller coasters of the past, you get to go inside a scare maze inside the old Camelot Castle building. It really is an incredible location. Now, dates are going to run from the 27th of September, which is their public opening night, through until the 2nd of November. Now, it isn't every night, it is just on various nights, and you'll find these are typically Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays, and then a few more days over the actual Halloween period. Now, tickets are going to cost you anywhere between £31.95 for the standard entry ticket, all the way up to £46.95 for their gold access ticket, which is essentially just a fast pass. Now, the way that this is set up is the only place you will queue is at the very start before you sign your disclaimer and you go and enter into the park. You can be queuing anywhere up to 45 minutes depending on what night you go and how busy it is. However, the ops there are quite good. They do get you through quite quickly, and therefore an extra £16-17 just to make sure you go to the front. This is per person, bear in mind, is not really worth it in my opinion, not with how quick the queues move anyway. However, if you really do want to just get this experience going, then by all means purchase that gold ticket, get yourself to the front on that fast pass. But as far as I can see, nothing extra is really included in that extra £17. Now, speaking of entry and getting in, whenever you book your ticket, you will need to set a entry time. These range from 6:30 in the evening all the way up to 9 PM in the evening, and in around half-hour blocks. You can only enter the event at your entry time. If you arrive too early, you won't be allowed to enter, and if you arrive too late, you also may not be allowed to enter. They will endeavour to try and move you onto a later time slot. However, if these are fully booked, or you were booked on the later time slot anyway, then you won't be able to enter because of their operational license. They can only allow a certain amount of people on site, and they have to close by a certain time. So please make sure that you do arrive in time for your ticket. If it's between sort of 6:30 and 7, make sure you arrive at around 6:20, and then you can be there ready to go in. Now, I would have in previous years suggested getting there a little bit earlier, because before the entrance they did used to have a carnival which included some fairground rides and a couple of little places to eat, some nice music to listen to while you waited. However, this had disappeared last year and I can't guarantee whether it's going to return or not, so I would just say this year arrive around 5-10 minutes early for your slot, sit in the car park and then go straight into the event when it is your timed slot. In terms of who can go, this is open to anyone age 18 or above. Now, if you are a little younger, you might not have to be left out, because anyone between the ages of 14 and 18 can attend as long as they are accompanied by an over 18 adult, and this is at a ratio of 1:6, so if you have an over 18 person in your group, you can also have another 6 under 18s going as low as 14 years old to go into the event. Now, accessibility. Unfortunately, because of the type of event this is and the type of terrain that is covered throughout, like many scare events out there, this isn't really accessibility friendly. You'll find uneven terrain, steps, large climbs, fog machines, anxious scares, loud music and flashing lights, and therefore if you're in a wheelchair or you need a walking aid such as walking sticks, crutches, unfortunately you're not going to be able to access this event. And likewise, if you have any respiratory or heart conditions, it might not be the place for you either. Also, if you are neurodiverse and you have certain issues, then the loud noises, the fog, the stimulation from the scares and the flashing lights, you might also want to think twice before attending as well. Now, what I would suggest is we have a range of videos here on the channel from where we've been previously. Go and watch any one of our vlogs from this scare event or from the others. Find out just kind of what happens, get that feel for what's going on, and decide for yourself if you are neurotypical, whether you think it would be too stimulating for you or whether you think you could cope. Now, this experience is a self-guided linear experience, which means unlike most of the other scare events in the UK, which have a central hub with the entertainment, food and drink all available, and then you can go in and out of the houses at your leisure, this experience, once you get started on the pathway, you're on that pathway all the way through until the end. Now, it can take you anywhere between 45 minutes through to an hour and a half to experience the full thing, and that includes time spent in the middle. Now, in the middle of this attraction, there is what's called the Resurrection Zone, which is a respite area. Once you get around halfway through all of the scare attractions, you will then come into this zone, which will have a range of entertainment, food, drinks and a covered seating area for you just to relax and have a bit of respite before you continue along that pathway. Here, as mentioned, you will find covered seating, you will find entertainment that can range anywhere from fire breathers and acrobatics, including the fire breather that set himself on fire last year, as well as plenty of food and drink, which will include burgers, loaded fries and hot dogs, and beers, mulled wine and teas and coffees. It's a lovely little area, playing some music, occasionally the odd actor walking around interacting with people, just to catch your breath before you then go on the rest of your journey into Scarcity Experience. And that experience itself, it will contain 10 separate zones, as they like to call them, which will be a mixture of scare houses as well as walk-through zones too. Now, the great thing is that every single year they actually keep things fresh by changing up the route of how you walk around the entire experience. So I can't really tell you what route you're going to take, and I can't tell you exactly which of these houses is going to replace the previous ones, but I will do my best to explain some of what is coming for 2025. Now, Zone number 1 is Contained. A routine contamination check plunges into chaos and red lights flicker, signalling the breach of safety protocols. Forced into a labyrinth of cold, suffocating steel containers, guests are stalked by torn flesh and dead eyes that will launch forward at unnatural speeds, clawing at anything they can sink their rotting nails into. As the suffocating walls echo with shrieks, one truth settles in: something's not getting out. Zone number 2 is The Hollow. Venture deep into desolate woodland where lanterns bleed dim light through the fog, casting shadows which seem to move independently. Drawn to the scent of your fear, frenzied Wendigos charge at you from the blackness. Are you quick enough to escape the nightmare? Zone number 3, which I do recognise where this will be, is the settlement. The world has ended and all that remains are desperate savages fending off everything with a pulse. They move through the ruins with quiet, predatory precision, stalking their prey. Out here, their mercy rots faster than your flesh, and if you cross the boundary into their land, it's a free-for-all. You have been warned. Now, this looks to take place in the area where Junkyard was just over the last couple of years, which has plenty of abandoned, desolate, apocalyptic vehicles. Before, it did have a load of junkyarders in there, scary guys, very in your face. However, this year it does look like there's a bit of a supernatural twist on this, but looks to be in that same location. Zone number 4 is Puppet Master. Dare to enter the toy maker's workshop where innocent toys are hiding his deep dark secrets. The glassy eyes of the possessed dolls track your every move, silently reporting back to their master. The toy maker watches through them, deciding which unlucky soul will be the perfect addition to his twisted collection. Zone number 5 is the infirmary, and this is why I believe that the layout has been changed up for this year. The infirmary was there in previous years, but it was very much towards the end, whereas now it is essentially halfway through. So that walk through that sort of route looks to have changed again. But the infirmary. Enter the room where your fears are laid on the table and scalpels slice through the silence like fresh, supple skin. The treatments here are good, people can't stop screaming about them, and you're invited to find out why. Remember to do your research before agreeing to anything, because without it, miscommunications can happen. Zone number 6 is Satan's Soiree. Satan is hosting a party and you better not be late. He's got plenty of drinks and prepared a delicious platter for you to enjoy. Just don't ask him what the meat is. Sip on chalices filled with liquid courage and revel in the magic. After all, it's better the devil you know, right? Zone number 7 is Castellum. Freed by his merciless cult, Camelot's vampire is awakening after his demise in 1782. His cult needs your blood to complete his resurrection so they can worship him once again. And they've waited long enough. Deny them and it'll soon come back to bite you. Now, either Satan's Soiree or Castellum could be either of the mazes that are set inside the Camelot show building, and this last year is where they had the Basilica of Galgani, which won awards all over the place. I believe it won the ScareCon award for the best set, and it also won the Dean of the Dead Scare Award for best set piece or best show piece as well. And it's for good reason as well, because the exorcism scene in the middle of this maze was truly extraordinary. While a bit of the rest of the maze did suffer slightly through lack of actors and a little bit of dead space, it was worth it for just this scene, as you were taken into the middle and a priest performed an exorcism right in front of you. Now, this exorcism went wrong and the possessed lady got free, and honestly it was some incredible visuals. Now, as we move on to Zone 8, this is Abyss 2.0, which replaces Abyss. They say you can't fear what you don't know, but you'd be smart to keep your wits about you. In a room where every step is shrouded in darkness, your senses are heightened to notice even the slightest disturbance. It's a test of bravery as you face claustrophobic darkness, unsure of who or what might be within its reach. Now, this sounds very much like the shipping container maze towards the very end of the attraction. A couple of years ago, it was set up to just be completely and utterly filled with fog. You could not see an inch in front of your face, and you could feel people touching you from above, touching you from below. It was really an assault on the senses. It was very good. And last year, it was very similar. Not quite as intense, but also contained one of the new products for 2024, which was the Scare Cam, where at the end of the experience you could purchase a CCTV cam footage that followed you around the entire attraction, so you could see it from a little bit of a different perspective. And I figure this is where Abyss 2.0 is going to be this year. And then jumping into an old favourite for Zone 9, this is Carney Valley. Now, Carney Valley has been there for a number of years, and it really is great using some of those old show buildings that Camelot still have standing. Now, this reads, "The madness is no laughing matter, their games are rigged with terror, and losing means far more than disappointment. Your life is their prize. They're playing with you for fun, and you're playing to survive the night. In their corrupt circus, the show doesn't end until your screams do." And then on to the final zone of the evening, Zone 10, which is the slaughterhouse. Navigate your way through blood-slickened corridors and meat hooks as the deranged butchers hunt for their next cut. Their preference is free-range meat, so the faster you run, the hungrier they're getting. Survive the slaughterhouse or become the special of the day. Now, this to me indicates that potentially the end of Scare City 2025 is where the beginning of previous years were. Going in to see Billy the Butcher in the slaughterhouse was often the first maze that you would go through. This year it looks like it's going to be the last, as well, indicating that that whole route has been changed up for a completely new and fresh experience. And it's also great to see Carney Valley back, as this has typically been one of our favourite fun little interactive spaces. Not the scariest out of all of them, but very much a fun place to interact with some of the characters that are there as well. And every year there seems to be an improvement in sort of the theming around that area too, which I'm looking forward to seeing for 2025. And that is it. That is what I believe is everything that you ought to know for Scare City Expereince 2025. If this video has been helpful for you, please, by all means, smash the like button. If there's anything I have not covered about Scare City Expereince 2025, pop a comment in the comments down below. I will answer every single one of them and let you know my opinion on whatever it is that you need to know. And as mentioned earlier in the video, smash the subscribe button as well, because this is going to be our biggest year yet, fingers crossed. And we'll be bringing you full vlogs from every single one of the events, including the majority allowing in-maze filming as well. So smash that subscribe button and be ready for the best time of the year. Scare season is just about to begin. With that being said, I've been Darren, you've been watching Judventures, and I'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye.
Ride with Judventures, you know the name. Theme parks and attractions and kick-ass days. You got the big bearded husband, a beautiful blonde wife, and a cool young lad just living their best life. I'm the guy with the camera, beer game strong. Catch me in a scare maze, come scream along. News and reviews, I'm dropping the facts. Ride POVs and honest reacts. So follow the journey from scare to scream. Judventures, baby, let's live the dream.